In the bustling town of New York, there lived a young, aspiring artist named Emma. Emma, a woman of immense talent, saw her art as a reflection of her soul, a kaleidoscope of colours and emotions. She was on the rise, her work adorning the walls of renowned galleries and her name becoming a whisper on the lips of art enthusiasts. But then she crossed paths with a friend, a character as vibrant as a summer storm, who brought both light and darkness in her life. This friend, though charming and seemingly supportive, was a whirlpool of negativity, slowly pulling Emma into a vortex of self-doubt and despair. Emma, once a bright beacon of creativity, found herself dimming under this friend's influence. Her art, once a riot of colours and emotions, started reflecting the gloom that had taken over her life. The optimism and joy that once sparkled in her eyes was now replaced by a dull glaze of melancholy. The friend's influence was like a shadow that clouded Emma's sunny disposition, a chilling wind that extinguished her fiery passion. The more time Emma spent with this friend, the more she started losing herself, her art, her very essence. It was as if she was slowly being eroded, her vibrant personality washed away by a torrent of negativity. As the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, Emma found herself spiraling into a realm of despair. Her art, which was once her escape, now became a prison, trapping her in a cycle of self-doubt and negativity. The friend, who she once saw as a source of inspiration, was now the anchor that was pulling her down into the depths of desolation. Emma's story is a stark reminder of the power of influence, of how the people we surround ourselves with can shape our thoughts, our emotions, our very lives. It highlights the importance of choosing our companions wisely, for they can either be the wind beneath our wings or the storm that brings us crashing down. Little did Emma know, this was just the beginning of a downward spiral. As days turned into weeks, Emma's light began to dim. It was as if a once vibrant sunflower full of life and radiance started to wilt under the harsh glare of an unforgiving sun. This was no ordinary sun, but rather a metaphorical representation of the negative influence that had seeped into Emma's life, slowly draining her of her vitality and joy. Emma, once an ardent lover of art, now found her once vibrant canvas turning into a stark, monochromatic landscape. She no longer found solace in the swoosh of her paintbrush against the canvas, nor in the vibrant colours that used to dance under her fingertips. Her easel, once her sanctuary, now stood untouched, gathering dust in a forgotten corner of her room. Her health, too, began to falter. The sparkle in her eyes dulled, replaced by a weariness that seeped into her bones. Her once robust laughter now seemed like a distant echo, a phantom remnant of happier times. The vitality that used to radiate from her was now replaced with a lethargy that was as infectious as it was alarming. The negative influence didn't just affect her personal interests and health, but also strained her relationships. Bonds she had nurtured over years began to fray at the edges, strained under the weight of her changing demeanour. Conversations that used to flow like a bubbling brook now felt like walking on a thin ice sheet, every word threatening to crack the fragile surface. In the face of this downward spiral, Emma was losing herself. The once vibrant, vivacious woman was now a mere shadow of her former self. The darkness that had subtly crept into her life was now consuming her, leaving nothing but a hollow shell in its wake. Her spirit, once as strong as a roaring lion, was now as meek as a lamb caught in the headlights of an oncoming vehicle. The darkness was all-encompassing, a fog that clouded her vision and left her stumbling, lost in her own life. Emma was losing herself, being consumed by a darkness she didn't invite. It was a chilling testament to the destructive power of a bad influence, a stark reminder of the downward spiral that awaits those who let negativity seep into their lives. One fateful day, Emma stumbled upon a book about Stoicism in a thrift store. The worn pages of this ancient philosophy seemed to whisper secrets of strength and resilience. It was as if the universe had guided her to this moment, an unexpected beacon of hope amidst her turmoil. The principles of Stoicism, etched in ink, revealed a path to self-empowerment. Stoicism taught her about control, about discerning between what she could change and what she couldn't. It spoke of the power of inner strength, the virtue of resilience, and the wisdom in accepting the inevitable. Emma began to see the world through a new lens, a Stoic lens. She realized that the toxic influence in her life was like a storm. It was fierce, it was daunting, but ultimately it was outside her control. All she could do was to shield herself, to not let the storm erode her spirit, to not let the external chaos disrupt her internal peace. She learned that her reactions, her emotions, her thoughts, they were all within her control. She could choose not to absorb the negativity, not to let it seep into her soul. She could choose to remain steadfast, to remain true to herself, despite the storm raging around her. The teachings of Stoicism became her guiding light. It helped her recognize the toxic influence for what it was, a test of her strength, a challenge to her resilience. It was not a reflection of her worth, not a measure of her character. The more she delved into Stoicism, the more she discovered her inner strength. She realized she had the power to rise above the toxicity, to reclaim her life, to redefine her destiny. She had the power to change her responses, to change her perspective, to change her reality. Emma's journey into Stoicism was a journey into self-discovery. It was a journey of learning, of growing, of awakening. She discovered that she was not a victim of her circumstances, but a master of her reactions. With newfound wisdom, Emma realized the power to change was within her all along. She was not defined by the storm, but by how she weathered it. And with the wisdom of Stoicism, she was ready to brave any storm that came her way. Armed with Stoic philosophy, Emma began her journey to reclaim her life. Our protagonist, Emma, is now on a road that's less traveled. A road that leads to recovery, to self-discovery, and to a life she once dreamt of, but had lost somewhere along the way. This road was not easy. It was filled with challenges, with moments of self-doubt. But Emma was determined. She knew she had to distance herself from the toxic friend who had caused her to spiral into negativity. And she did just that. She cut ties, she moved on. She chose her peace of mind over a friendship that was anything but peaceful. It was a step that required immense courage, but it was a step in the right direction. Emma rediscovered her love for art. She returned to the canvas, to the colors, to her world of creativity. She painted her pain, her resilience, her journey. Each brushstroke was a testament to her strength, her determination to rise above the negativity that had once consumed her. Her art became her therapy, her refuge, her voice. The Stoic philosophy played a pivotal role in this journey. It taught Emma to differentiate between what was within her control and what wasn't. It taught her the importance of inner peace, of resilience, of acceptance. Emma embraced these teachings. She internalized them, she let them guide her. Stoicism became her compass in this journey of recovery. Every day, Emma grew stronger, more resilient. She learned to let go of the negativity, of the guilt, of the pain. She learned to focus on the present, on the now. She learned to live, to truly live, not just exist. This journey was not just about recovery, it was about empowerment. It was about reclaiming her life, her dreams, her aspirations. It was about finding herself amidst the chaos, amidst the storm. It was about becoming the master of her own life, of her own destiny. Emma had finally broken free from the chains of negativity that once held her captive. She was no longer a prisoner of her past, she was the architect of her future. Emma's story is a testament to the power of resilience, of determination, of the human spirit. It's a tale of triumph, of survival, of rebirth. Life had thrown Emma a curveball, but she had learned to swing. Our narrative takes us to the final chapter of Emma's transformation, a testament to the resilience and tenacity of the human spirit. Emerging from the shadows of negative influences, Emma found her way back to herself. She rediscovered her passion, a love for art that had been suppressed under the weight of negativity. With every stroke of her brush, every blend of color, she painted her path to liberation. Art became her voice, her solace, and her strength. It was through this medium that she could express her pain, her joy, her journey. The canvas, once blank and untouched, came alive with her emotions, her experiences, her triumphs. Each painting was a chapter of her life, a testament to her journey of transformation. But it wasn't just her passion for art that flourished in the aftermath of her struggle. Her relationships, too, saw a remarkable transformation. She mended broken ties, fostered new connections, and strengthened the bonds of existing ones. She learned to draw boundaries to protect her peace and to cultivate relationships that encouraged her growth, not hindered it. She learned the power of positivity, of empathy, and of understanding. But what truly led Emma to this triumphant transformation was the philosophy of Stoicism. The principles of Stoicism guided her through her darkest hours, illuminating her path with wisdom and resilience. It taught her to accept the things she could not change, to change the things she could, and to have the wisdom to know the difference. It taught her to embrace adversity, to learn from it, and to grow with it. Stoicism was not just a philosophy for Emma, it was a way of life. It was the compass that guided her through the storm, the anchor that kept her grounded, and the beacon that led her to the shore of transformation. Emma's story is a testament to the power of the human spirit and the transformative potential of Stoicism. It is a reminder that we are not defined by our circumstances, but by our response to them. It is a celebration of the triumph of the human spirit, the unyielding strength that lies within us all. So, what can we learn from Emma's journey? Emma's transformation was not merely an act of willpower, but a shift in perspective, a shift that was guided by the principles of Stoicism. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy founded in Athens, has been a guiding light for countless individuals throughout history. It teaches us to focus on what is truly within our control and to accept with grace that which we cannot change. One of the core principles of Stoicism is understanding the difference between what is in our control and what isn't. Emma's journey teaches us that we can't control the actions of others. We can't control if someone chooses to be a negative influence. But what we can control is our reaction to these influences. We can choose to distance ourselves, to not let their negativity seep into our lives. Stoicism also emphasizes the acceptance of things we cannot change. Emma had to accept that the person causing turmoil in her life was not going to change. This acceptance wasn't a sign of defeat, but a realization that she could not control another's actions, only her own. Acceptance is not about giving up, but about redirecting our efforts towards what we can actually influence. Finally, Stoicism underscores the importance of inner peace. Emma found that when she stopped allowing external circumstances to disrupt her tranquility, she was better equipped to handle life's challenges. Inner peace is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to cope with it. It's about finding calm amidst the storm, not in the absence of it. Emma's journey is a testament to the transformative power of Stoicism. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, to accept what we can't, and to find peace within ourselves regardless of external circumstances. Embrace Stoicism and unlock the power to withstand any storm life throws your way. Emma's story is not unique. We all encounter negative influences in our lives. Like a shadow, they creep into our world, often unnoticed, subtly shaping our thoughts, influencing our decisions, and ultimately steering our lives off course. But the question is, how do we overcome these bad influences? The key lies in understanding the power of our mind, the strength of our will, and the resilience of our spirit. The ancient Stoics taught us that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control our reactions. Just as a ship's captain navigates through stormy seas, we too must steer our minds through the tumultuous waves of negative influence. When faced with a bad influence, instead of being swept away, we can choose to stand firm. We can choose to not let their negativity seep into our minds. We can choose to not let their actions dictate our emotional state. Adopting a Stoic mindset empowers us to rise above these influences. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, to accept what we cannot, and to distinguish between the two. It's about remaining calm amidst chaos, maintaining our integrity when faced with adversity, and persevering when the odds are against us. We all have an inner fortress, a place of peace and strength within us. It's time we learn to retreat into this fortress when faced with negative influences. Let's not forget, we are the authors of our own stories. We have the power to rewrite our narrative, to change the course of our journey. We can choose to let the negative influences define us, or we can choose to rise above them. Like Emma, we too can overcome. We too can transform. we too can triumph. But remember, this journey is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It takes time, it takes patience, and above all, it takes resilience. So let's stand firm, let's rise above, let's reclaim our power. Remember, you hold the power to change. Don't let anyone dim your light.